Hello again, and welcome to video 4. I hope you've gained some new insights for your life, your loss, and your hurt. I hope you've laughed some, smiled, maybe cried, but more importantly, have felt the power of love. Let's keep going and continue this journey after loss together. Death, divorce, job loss, and even the decline of our personal youthhood can put us into a state of grief. There are so many things in this life that can cause us to experience it. But what is grief? How do we know when someone is in a state of grief? How would a person have to act, feel, think, or be like to be in a state of grief? Society or your jibber-jabbering mind would love to fill you in, and I don't mean the right way. They get satisfaction telling you how you should be, how you should act, and how you should feel. They even take it a step further, and they tell you when you should stop feeling bad or when you should start feeling better. What's even more sad, if you're not meeting their standards or expectations, or you're feeling or you're acting how they think you shouldn't, they throw you in a box and they label you as depressed, manic, bipolar. You have ADHD, you have PTSD, you're schizophrenic, you're abnormal. You make them uncomfortable, so they label you as a problem. But please, be reassured, you are not a problem. They try to be nice by saying, "Here, try these meds. They'll help you." But all those medications really do is numb you up, so you can't feel your natural, your human being emotions. And if that doesn't work, they keep adding on more or trying new medications. And eventually, if all this fails, they put you in a hospital or you go in an institute. Don't get me wrong, of course. Some of these interventions have been found to work and provide healing for many. You might even have found some to be beneficial to your own healing. However, there are two important factors we must consider. The first is if you, the true you, is the one making the conscious decision to use them. And the second factor is if the therapy chosen is treating the true cause of the problem, not just alleviating a symptom. If you say yes to both of these, right here, these two factors, then you know that you're not misusing these therapies. Please know, you're not a failure if you have to do or have done any of these. I have personally used several. Just remember, like I said in the previous video, there's a difference between you using it and it using you. Take a second to just listen to me when I say you are none of these. You are not the depression, the anger, the guilt, the sadness, the PTSD, or the craziness. I say this with so much passion and love. Nothing is wrong with you. You're beautiful. You're a beautiful human being who just so happens to be experiencing the life experience of loss and life after loss. Nothing is wrong with you. And besides, what and who is normal? It simply doesn't exist. Just because society is telling you what you are or what you should and shouldn't do doesn't mean they're right. They are not you. Your brain is going 1,000,000 miles an hour because it's been thrown a curveball, and it honestly probably has no idea how to handle this. It's probably screaming, "Abort, abort, abort." Remember, all it really cares about is survival. You probably have never experienced some of the thoughts you might be having right now. I know that was true for me. I thought I was going crazy. Let's talk about the emotions. 1 second, you might be feeling fine, okay. But then, all of a sudden, something triggers you, or something shifts inside, and you feel like you're standing in the depths of hell. Your heart, your emotions, your orchestra. It's playing a melody you have never heard or felt before. And believe me, I know it can be quite frightening. I will say it again. This is not you. You are not what you are feeling, and you are not what your brain is tricking you to think you are thinking. You are not this grief. You are the one who is experiencing it. Every loss is different, and every loss has its own attributes. The grief experience is different every single time. Why do you think that is? For example, I bet you can't pat your head and rub your stomach exactly the same time every single time. See, I can't even talk and do it at the same time. I'll tell you what makes it all different. It's the moments, experiences, and you. Who or what we lost causes us pain, because on the other side of that pain is love. A burning, passionate, gentle, and sacred love. To love means to open ourselves up to pain and hurt. The only two permanent things in this life are change and love. Together, a beautiful connection, a relationship was made. When you step back for a moment and take time to really think about this, all life is relationships. You have a relationship with yourself, your spouse, your family, friends, the foods you eat, the TV you watch, the bed you sleep on, the pets, the fish, even with the air you breathe. I hope you see where I'm going with this. It is all connected. Life is relationships. Life with a loved one was lived and shared together. There was a relationship. They were a piece of your life. You both met each other's needs in some way or another. And then, all of a sudden, that piece of you, that person, that who or what you lost, is gone. That comfort we felt inside, it was suddenly taken, and we're left with discomfort. A part of our life is gone, just like that. What are we supposed to do now? No wonder we feel so confused and empty inside sometimes after loss. Something or someone that made us feel whole was taken. Being a person who was deeply impacted by grief when my father died, I have so much compassion for you. Please know, the grief you experience now is just another expression of your love. The grief journey is not about what happened to us necessarily, but rather, it's about learning how to live our lives without who or what we lost. Physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, we are challenged. Shock hits us. Our body aches, and our hearts become exposed. We become frightened, sad, angry, confused, anxious, numb, or extremely guilty. No one teaches us what is to come or how to respond to loss. So take a second, take a deep breath. Don't be ashamed. We can get through this together. Death is a very uncomfortable subject for many. I can remember, just days after my dad died, being told things like, God has a plan, He wouldn't want you to be sad. He's in a better place now. It could have been worse. Or my favorite, I know how you feel. This list could go on and on. It wasn't until one day I realized why most people say things like this to people after loss. It's because they don't necessarily know what else to say or how to handle their own feelings about themselves. This whole situation, this loss, it makes it uncomfortable. Most people have the best intentions and they want to help, but honestly, they don't know how. It's uncomfortable. And I don't blame them. Have you ever felt uncomfortable being around a person who had lost someone? I know I have. Because I hadn't realized this at the time, what people said to me after the death of my dad, it actually made me feel worse. I thought, how the hell do you know how I feel? You honestly have no idea how screwed I am now. Because of this, I became extremely angry and began to blame them for how I felt. I would push people away and I would hold grudges. I expected others to do my grief work for me. I expected others to make me feel better. But guess what? They didn't do my grief work for me. I still felt bad, and I just kept getting let down. I had set myself up to fail and for a life full of misery, suffering, and pain. I distanced myself so far from others. I had not one single person left in my life. As days passed, people checked on me less and less. For years, I chose not to get better. I would find the smallest excuse, and I would stay in my self-pity and despair. I let my physical health go down the drain. I developed an eating disorder, an autoimmune disorder. My diet was trash. The highlight of my days were panic attacks, chest pains, and self-harm acts. My pain had driven me to the point of crazy, and I would do extreme things just to get a release from it or just to feel real again. I can remember my chest hurting so bad from crying and the anxiety just building up. I lost days worth of sleep and completely separated myself from God. I was so angry at God. I can remember just yelling and blaming him for the hell that I had to go and live with now. I spent so many days and nights crawled in a ball just crying my eyes out. My mind would never stop saying something, and of course it wasn't very nice what it had to say. The thoughts completely terrified me and kept me on edge. I seriously thought I was losing my mind. I had lost love for myself and my life. And let me remind you, during this time, I refused to get help. Society told me, be tough. You can't show your weaknesses. If you do, we'll give you medicine. And if that doesn't work, we'll just put you in a hospital. There was no way in hell I was going to let people know how bad I was feeling. There was no way I was going to let others know I was going crazy or how numb or unreal I felt. So that's what I did. I kept it all in and I hid it. And when people asked me if I was doing okay, I lied and I said I'm fine. Little did they know that when I was alone, that was when the demons were all let out. I had let negativity, doom, and despair take over my life because I wasn't willing to face my grief. I labeled myself as, I am depressed, I'm broken, I'm lazy, and I was selfish in my suffering. And unfortunately, I had made it my reality. I refused to accept that I was the one causing my reality. I had a problem and I needed to work on me. I had allowed myself to live in such a dark place that one night I almost killed myself because of it. However, this is not the reason as to why I'm telling you all of this. It's my past, and it's done and over, and I can't do anything to redo it. And I wouldn't. I tell you my past because I don't want you to have to go through what I did. You don't have to. There are different paths, believe me. I wouldn't be talking right now if I hadn't found a different path. Our grief experiences, they may be different, but there is one thing we all share in common on our paths. And that is the use of our self-control. It is the use of our self-control to find our healing. Did you know we are all actually parents? Did you know we don't have to have kids or pets to be considered parents necessarily? It's already inside of us. We are the parents of our minds, our bodies, and lives. But if you do have kids, keep it in mind. The quality of how you parent yourself is the quality of how you will parent your children. My question now to you is, what is the purpose of parents? Why does life give them to us? Why does life have parents? It is to nurture, care, teach, and protect us. Parenting is about giving and extending oneself to another's growth. If we didn't have parents, life's expansion, survival, and growth wouldn't be what it is today. But isn't that what you do with yourself? Wouldn't you agree we are the protectors, the teachers, and the caretakers of our own minds, bodies, and souls? We are the parents of our lives, and this process continues until the day we die. Each day, each moment, we get to choose to either be a good parent or a bad parent to ourselves. So what does this all come down to? The answer is, again, self-control. How would you describe self-control to someone? If I had to describe it to someone, I would say self-control is the ability to control oneself. I'll say it again. It's the ability to control oneself. Think about that for a second. In the context of your own life, how good are you at controlling yourself? How good are you at using your free will? Master self-control, master life, my friends. Every day, every one of us is faced with choices. What to eat, what to wear, what to do, what to think, what to feel. Right now, you're making a choice to watch this video. You are using your self-control. Here's another example. So, over in the distance, you see this big, dark, yummy piece of chocolate cake just staring at you. And it's silently saying, "Eat me, eat me, eat me." But you resist because you know an apple is a healthier option. You're using your self-control to implement discipline here. Do you see where I'm going with this? The next big question is, what do you want? What does your heart desire? What would you have to do to get that? Think about that. What would you have to do to get what you want? What would you have to do? You would have to choose, and you would have to act. You would have to choose to want to get better. But you can't stop there. You would have to do. You would have to take action to get better. Life is too short to be lived in suffering. And life is too short to spend our time waiting to get better. We must take responsibility into our own hands. Remember when I talked about the power, that special force inside? It's in us all. The challenge of life it lies within ourselves. It's about growing and learning how to control our minds. Instead of our minds using us, we must choose to use the mind to our benefits. All you will ever need is found within. All you will ever need is found within. We must hold ourselves to a new standard. If you gain a new standard for yourself, you will gain a new life. We have to choose to get better and stop making excuses. No one can do your grief work for you. You must face your grief head on. We can't just stop and say, it is what it is. I'm depressed. No, we can't do that because life is going to go on with or without us. And that is not your true nature. We must keep dancing with our suffering until it no longer wants to keep dancing with us. When we feel sad and overwhelmed, because some days we do, acknowledge it. And then, in that moment, make a commitment to yourself. Make a commitment to do something about it. Challenge your thoughts. See if they're really true. When your mind says, I can't go on without them, or I will never get better, you have to say, no, you are wrong, mind. This is not true. I can go on without them. I can get better, and I will. Living life is a practice. It's an art. It's a skill, and just like with everything, like learning how to ride a bicycle for the first time, it takes practice, but before you know it, you'll be riding on it like a pro. And if you need a little help, or if you crash your bike and fall, don't be afraid to ask for help. Someone will help you get back up. We share this earth for a reason. So first things first, what areas in your life do you need to implement more self-control in? Is it your physical body, your thought patterns, emotions, your relationships, your career, diet, your time, your faith, finances, your spirituality? What area or areas do you need more self-control in? And what do you think would happen if you gain more self-control in that area or those areas of your life? What would your life be like then? Self-control is the answer of how you'll get there. We've been talking for a while now, and I think after this video, we both need to get up on our feet and go do something. Go move your body. Take a walk. Do yoga or go dancing. Just be grateful for your life and the new opportunity you have. This concludes our time together today. However, if you want to keep watching the remainder of this video, I have a special offer just for you. If not, I guess I'll see you in video 5. But for those of you who wanted to stay, thank you. I promise I won't take too much of your time. Fortunately, because of my career paths, I am extremely knowledgeable in health. Being a registered nurse, fitness nutrition specialist, high school girls volleyball and basketball coach, and a former physique competitor, I have had tons of experience working with people who desire to improve their health. Because you are watching this right now, I want to offer my service to you. If you're wanting to lose weight, gain energy, or just clean up your diet, I would be happy to help you. So if you're interested, click the tab on my website that says get your free consultation. Fill out your information, and I will personally get back to you. Nothing tastes as good as healthy feels. And believe me, when your body is healthy and cared for, Your mind will be able to operate effectively. You will also gain the energy you need to heal and the energy you need to uncover the love you have for yourself. If you're needing an accountability buddy or just a support person to hold you to your standards, maybe a solid exercise plan or nutrition help, please know I'm here for you. And if you're wanting even more than this, I can help you with that too. If you're committed to not only improving your health, but ending your suffering and healing, I offer a couple affordable packages where we can work personally together. You deserve an extraordinary life. The least I can do is help you out. I want to give you the chance to work with me one-on-one if you still feel stuck or you'd like even more help. The mentorship with me can give you a more personalized experience where I can help you on a day to weekly basis for several months. Just like I said above, click the tab on my website that says get your free consultation. Enter in your information and then I will personally get in touch with you. We will then go through a small interview process to make sure that we are compatible. Sometimes certain situations happen where I recognize that I can't help and I need to know that I can help you before doing anything else. Signing up is quick, and there's no obligation to sign up if you feel we aren't compatible. So thank you for taking the time to watch this, and please remember, your life is what you make it. Make it legendary. See you in video 5.